Hello all. Welcome to the latest installment of the FAQ hour. We're just waiting on those attendees to join on. I can see everyone joining now, so we'll give it a few moments and we'll be able to start. Hope everyone's been doing well. Anyone in Sydney, the weather's not the best, but it's good to see that a lot more faces are back in the office with the opening up of restrictions, which I'm sure everyone's grateful for. I'm sure everyone's not grateful for the increase of traffic. I got used to having no cars on the road, to be honest. So that's a horrifying experience, waiting in queues again. Especially since we're based out of Bella Vista, Lexington Drive isn't the fastest road on earth. So I'll give it a few more moments, guys. We've got some 40 plus already joined in, and then we'll kick start off. This installment of the FAQ hour is a good one. We've going through the changes that we've done with the quoting. So basically, what these changes will allow you to do is be able to make modifications to how the quote actually presents. And when I say quote, estimate, proposal, for our American clients, if they're joining on, proposal, for the Aussies, estimate or quote. And we'll be able to show how you can tailor how the quote presents to your business, so no two quotes look the same, and we're pretty excited on that. So I'll probably give it 5 more seconds and just kick start and share my screen like I always do. As in all my demos, trainings, and webinars, feel free to ask questions. You can ask questions in the chat widget. I think Zoom allows 2 different ways, on the Q&A or in the chat. I'll monitor both and I'll answer both respectively as I go along. And even if it's not on topic, if it's not about quotes or anything like that, it doesn't matter. This is designed just for clients predominantly to be able to sort of ask the questions they need. So we've got close to 50 now, so we might just kickstart that off. As always, we're recording the session, so later on today, this will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel, which you can find by simply searching for Can I Build, and it's being live streamed on Facebook as well. So people can ask questions on Facebook, but given I'm not a magician, I'll find it hard to sort of jump around, but I do have the Facebook tab open just in case someone does get adventurous and post a question there. But if you put it through Zoom, I'll definitely be focused on that. So let's kickstart this webinar. So as I mentioned in the lead-in, we are going to go through the latest changes that we've done, which is predominantly focused on quoting and predominantly focused on how the quote is being generated. So a lot of our clients have expressed not concern, but a desire that their quote look fundamentally different from their competitors or someone else's quote. And the fear is that if 2 companies are using Can I Build, that the quote or estimate or proposal may look similar. So we've put in a lot of work to make those changes. We have a special shout out to Advanced Homes in Victoria, who we've been working with quite closely as part of this development. And they're a fantastic home building group down in Vic. And I'm using some of their examples, I hope they don't mind, in relation to presenting what the quote functionality can do. So I've got already a quick question from Simon. How do I delete designs after it's been placed on the sitemap? What I'll do is when I get to that point, I'll quickly answer that. And also we've got, and I'll sort of cover that point. So let me share my screen. Let's kickstart. Everyone that knows me knows I can blabber for ages, so I highly doubt you want to sort of see my face for the next hour, and then I'll start showcasing what we can actually do with this new quote feature. So let's do that. And I hope you guys like the new angle. We've recently brought on board a new marketing manager, which one of the first things was, after seeing my last webinar, that no one wants to see up my nostrils, so I've elevated the photo. So hopefully it's a better view, but unfortunately it's the same face, so there's nothing I can do about that one. So let me just quickly share. So hopefully everyone can see my screen there. So let's just kickstart. So basically, for those of you that are just recently signed up for Can I Build, hello and thank you for the trust. Can I Build's a client-facing sales application tool. I won't, sort of repeat the whole spiel, but our imagery is high res, and the tool is specifically designed from the ground up with the sales consultant in mind, in order to be able to better sell construction from both a compliant and citing perspective. So without further ado, we'll go on the top left-hand side. No prizes for anyone to guess which address I'm going to be putting in. I really have to learn to live a little and choose a different address once in a while. So as soon as we get to the address, as per always, we're able to get the information on that address. And what I'll be doing is going through a citing, but going through it from the perspective of generating a quote. So we've got this site here. We're going to then very quickly jump to selecting a design and placing a design and start building up this quote functionality. So let's do that. And at least if you're watching, maybe you can sort of answer that Mac related question, because I'm more of a PC person. If you can do that, that'll be great. So here we've got these designs. We'll pick a design. We can easily do that by searching the name. I'll click on a design and place it on site. Now, as soon as we do place it on site, we've got our typical information, such as the setbacks being shown, and we're able to cite that quite easily. Now, if we jump to the dollar symbol, which is the quoting functionality, I'll start going through a little bit about quote, just to give some context for those of you that haven't seen quote at all, and then quickly dive into how you can modify the quote. So here we've got these groupings. So it starts off with the groupings of the main design. Now, in this case here, we've got construction, install, equipment, and then the name of the actual design. These groupings can be whatever you want them to be. So in this case, this is reflective of, say, a manufactured home business or a prefab business that may have wanted to group it under this kind of terminology. Obviously, for a custom home builder, a project home builder, or a pool builder, the groupings will be different, but this is fully customizable. You're able to start populating the quote in a few different ways. You're able to either click this down arrow and start applying new templates. These templates can be templates you create, and they can be any number of templates. So these could be your gold, silver, bronze, or they could be templates specific to a particular estate or a particular pool construction, whether it's freestanding or above ground or in ground or concrete versus fiberglass. There's quite a few different ways. We've got Elise just wants to quickly maybe answer that question. So just one tick. I'll let Elise talk for a moment. Elise, go ahead. Nope. Elise, you can just simply post it on the Zoom chat feed in relation to that question on how to delete. So that's no problem. So let me just jump back. So we can pick a template based on the state or gold, silver, bronze, or however it might be the case. Or alternatively, you can click add item and start feeding in from your pricing book. So you can start searching for things like aircon, or these could be elements, etc. Whatever that you want them to be, and start building up this quote. So you can see here that I've got optional upgrade, electrical, aircon. If you open up this full screen, if I click on air conditioner, if you have a photo on that, you'll be able to see that, and you'll be able to see the description of that item. Now, this is the basic functionality. I'll go into a little bit more detail, but let's just start producing a quote and seeing how we can customize how that looks. So we've got the base design, we've added an aircon, but let's just run it through and make it a little bit more realistic. Say we zoom in, we can start right-clicking, adding an annotation and saying 3-door stacker here, as an example. And then you're able to start going, okay, well, let's then go back to here, add item, and start going stacker. Adding that as a stacker door element, there's only one. You can change that unit of measure there. Click add to quote and start building up this quote or proposal or estimate. And the idea is not to replace any full-blown estimate. So Elise is saying that she can't see the question. Elise, the question is, I'm using Mac and how do I delete designs after it's been placed on the sitemap? So maybe you'll be able to answer that in both the using the mouse or without the mouse, because I know that Macs are a bit funny that way. And then I'll just repeat the question, at least to everyone else. So we're building up this quote. You're also able to start doing things like measuring up a fence line. So say, for example, let's just draw a fence line. You can use that measuring tool on the right-hand side, say the square, pick the line, and start building up a fence. Now, since I've got experience in the granny flat market, let's just say we've got, this was intending to build a granny flat. So you're building a fence line there, the portion off the front house, because you're going to build a granny flat at the back and you want to separate it. So you've now got a line representing a fence. You can change the color for our purposes. Let's make it pink, so it just highlights, and we can see it's 46.2 meters. Then we can simply go back to add item and go to say fence, and these could be your fence attributes. So right now I've just got ColourBond and fencing and timber fencing, and then you can go 46 linear meters. It's giving you the total price there at $4,370 because it's at $95 a linear meter. These are all your pricing or your terminology. And then quickly add that, and we're starting to build this quote up. So you're able to see here on the landscaping and fencing, we've got ColourBond and we've got the fence there. And the nice thing is, again, if I did drill down into any of these, you can sort of go into further detail. So we've done a fence line. Let's just go to something else. Let's say we're going to demo this tree. You're able to just make that a little bit simpler by doing the annotation and say build it to demo. And then you're able to, on the right-hand side, pick potentially the circle measuring tool and then measure out this tree. It will give you the square meterage, which is pretty useless, but the reason we're doing this right now is we can select it, then pick color, pick red, and then it just emphasizes that tree is about to go. Then you're able to start doing things like adding that second structure, which is the granny flap. Then if you go back to designs, let's pick that granny flap. Pick it. It's going to ask you, do you want to replace the current floor plan or keep it? Let's go keep. That's, by the way, for that earlier question on how to replace the design, this is one way. You can actually just click the other design and replace that design. But let's just click keep. And Elise has just answered that question, because she's a bit of a Apple guru. In answer to that earlier question on how to delete the structure, you can simply press Control and click the structure. This will show the delete structure option, and then you can select that. So hopefully that answers that earlier question. Alternatively, you can just click a different design and the system will prompt you if you wanted to replace that or keep it. Keep being there's now two structures. So we've clicked on this granny flap. We can now place that as well. So let's just place it there. And now what's happening in quote, if we do jump back to quote, we're still seeing houses, but it's going to be incorporating the cost of the granny flat design. And then if you can simply click on the top to the left, you'll be able to see your build types. I've got quite a few different build types because this is a demo account, but you can click on granny flat and it'll actually show you the granny flat costing. Now what you can do is click add item under granny flats, and this will feed into your granny flat pricing booklet. So if you've got different pricing books for different build types, you can start doing it this way as well. So you don't have a mishmash of different pricing items. You can group them whichever way you want. So in this case, let's say we wanted on this wall, click a note and say they want an AC to be located there. You can click add item, go aircon, and you can see here there's quite a few more aircon options because for this particular builder, they've got more options for air conditionings, particularly smaller ones, as opposed to the house that had only the 10 kilowatt. We click add item, and then you start building. And you can see these groupings are different. You can group however you want per build type, etc. And any of these things, we can sort of help you afterwards. You can always contact us and we can sort of help you to build up the estimate quoting functionality, but I'm just giving food for thought for now. So we've added this aircon, you've added an aircon. You can start doing here, let's just do another random example, which is more typical for granny flats. You can do another notation and say upgrade kitchen. And then you can click add item, for example, and let's just see if we've got an upgrade kitchen option. Let's just search the word benchtop instead. And that's another good point in terms of the searching functionality. You can just very quickly, let's just say upgrade to benchtop. You can quickly search any word and it'll pick it up. So it's designed to be just fast moving and quick. So you've got now that option as well. So that's quite good. Now, we've done a few notes. We've done remove tree. Let's just get a little bit more adventurous. Let's just extend out the alfresco. Again, on the right-hand side, I'll click on the square. And then here, let me just take snap off. Let's just measure this out, a quick increase in the size of this. So we've got this size, and then let's just say the client wants to modify that. They want it wider, so let's just go full length. You can just simply do that by clicking edit and then clicking a side segment and stretching it out. So this is 20 odd square meters. And now you can sort of go back to say houses if you wanted to associate to the house and click add item and go alfresco and say this is going to be covered tiled alfresco. And it was 20 odd square meters, I think it was. And then click add to quote. And then you're starting to build up this quote. So in very quick order, you're starting to build up an estimate to be able to show the client. You're associating it with elements on the screen, be it a fence line, be it a demolition of the tree, which I forgot to do. So let's just associate that to the granny flat because we have to remove the tree thanks to that. And then we can just go removal. Let's just see if we've got something for tree. I'm not 100% sure. Yep, we do. And we've got tree removal, add that to the quote, and then that becomes part of demolition works, etc., etc. So you can see now how quickly it is to work with the client, be able to provide genuine notes, genuine linking back to the estimate, and be able to sort of present it in a way where a client is fully aware of what's happening. So now at the bottom, you've got this price here, and you can say, this build with these elements, with these costings, etc., is going to cost you somewhere in the order of this price. And you can always leverage the power of, say, the contour lines, which I've just clicked on the right-hand side just below Hi Timothy, the second icon from the top. You can start seeing what the fall of the land is. And we've got some clients that are quite clever. That's adding, say, slope cost. So they're saying, okay, well, if the slope is X meters or half meter or 1 meter or 1.5 meter, rather than simply saying allow $50,000 for site cost, you're able to say, okay, I can see here that it's here, and this is the typical price that we allow. I think 6,390 is going to be the world's cheapest slope cost for a meter fall, but you're able to get the idea that you're starting to build up a hyper accurate, quick price guide, even if the client walked in the door 5 minutes earlier. And this is the same concept for pool designs. You can start adding pool fences, decking for sheds, additional concrete, etc. I've got another quick question. Is there a plan to be able to use tablet with a touch pen? This question is coming from Brad. 100%. Our team, we are delayed on this, but our team is working on a native iOS as well as Android functionality. And while we're doing that, I believe, and don't quote me on this, in another week or 2 weeks, you'll be able to use it regardless of whether it's not native. You'll be able to still access the app.canabuild.com via your iPad and start using those sort of touch functionalities within the next 2 weeks. So that'll be the first thing that we do, but then following from that, you'll be able to go to the Apple Store or Google Play or Android or whatever and download the Can I Build as a fully featured app, which is quite good as well. So hopefully that answered your question, Brad. In terms of the functionality, so let's jump to why everyone's here, which is to understand how these quotes now look. So we've done all this information. We've added a whole bunch of items. I hope you can see that we've added those items quite quickly and quite easily. Now what we can do is generate. So before I do generate, however, I will mention that you can sort of open one of these up and say, for example, the client says, I think that stack of doors is too expensive. You can drill down onto that and do line item discounts. So let's just change this one by a dollar amount of $500. And you're able to, and you can see the discounts start building up at the bottom. And over here, you'll be able to see what discount you've applied. And then you're able to sort of click the pen at the bottom and do a percentage discount across the whole amount. Or let's just say here, we allow another $2,000 discount across the board. This will trigger if there's predefined upper limits to the discounting. So you can associate different discount levels at different categories of team members. So say, for instance, management might be able to discount higher and sales consultants lower. But in this case, we know that we've only got $500 left. So we've discounted $1,000. So now let's click Get Quote. Now here in Get Quote, you can auto calculate deposit. You can assign a client. So let's assign a client. The client's at the bottom of the address bar. You can start typing in the client's name. If the client already exists, it'll show, or you can scroll down to the bottom, click Add Gym and populate those details. So let's just, for the benefit of timing, add a pre-existing client. Jimbo Jones is ever popular. So we've got Jimbo Jones. We can click Get Quote. It'll show Jimbo Jones, which is great. You can add a description here. Notes go here. These are off-the-cuff notes. Say, for instance, client going on holidays, can't start until 3 months or whatever might be relevant, and click Proceed. And in a very similar way as generating site plans or flyers or any other documents that you may have generated in the past, it'll appear in Docs. So let's just let that happen and see how this version looks, and then we'll go back into admin and show how you can customize this. I've got another quick question from Anonymous. Where you extended the alfresco area, can you change the alfresco, the original alfresco, to be part of the living area in the quote? The quick answer is yes. I did do that when I added that item, which was alfresco at a square meter rate. So I'll just show that again. If I go here and I'm in houses, common upgrades, building modifications, covered alfresco. If I click on that, what I've did is added 20 square meters as the unit of measure, which is representative of this. It could be 20.81, I just put 20. And then that's that square meter rate. And this is the description of what's included in this rate. So in this case, it includes covered roof as per original plans, gutters, fascias, a bunker light, etc., and stormwater connection, etc. So you can do it that way. I believe your question is probably relating to if it can be automatically done. This is something that we're working on. So we are working on that any building modification can be added to the actual floor plan automatically. And we are working with one major client in Victoria to be able to develop that functionality where you can click on the media room option or the 4th bedroom option, etc. And that's probably going to be the focus of next month's webinar as well. So hopefully that answered your question. So jumping back to docs, we've clicked generate quote. We can now click on quote, click download, and open this guy up and have a look at how that looks. Now, here, and like I said, I really hope Advanced doesn't mind us giving them a plug. We do appreciate their trust, and we've worked with them to be able to produce this. Now, this is not their quote. This is one that I've just quickly thrown in some elements to show how much you can customize, and then we'll work on this and bring it back to something a little bit nicer. I highly doubt anyone is really interested in this calligraphy type font, unless someone is still trapped in 1995 and doing quotes from there. But you're able to sort of produce this quote, and it'll be, if anyone's produced a quote on the system, you can see that this is as per normal, but you're able to do a few new things. You're able to replace the background image, so you can do one that's representative of your business. You're able to change all the colors, the font. You're able to reposition elements. You can notice here that the system's smart enough to know that there's a granny flat and there's a house. And to group those items, you're able to see here the discounts. You're able to see here that it's got the discount per the line item. And you've got all your sort of signature blocks at the bottom. You're able to get also your profile pics and social pics and connections to payment options. So this is connected to Stripe, so you can click pay now and it'll jump to your, say, $500 initial payment or $1,000 or whatever it might be. And at the bottom, we've just got some gibberish just to show that you're able to add in your own text. So what I'll now do is let's go in the back end and see how much flexibility you have to customize this quote. So let's go here. In Hi Timothy, on the top right-hand corner, we're clicking on admin. And now we're picking branding on just below here. And now this is showing you all the options that you have on this quote. So it's giving you an example quote on the left-hand side, which you can scroll and see exactly what we've been able to produce. And the nice thing here is you can, on each of the sections, you can move the sections up or down with these arrows, which means you can reorder how the quote is being presented. So if you want your socials right at the bottom, if you want the signature block up top, however you want to sort of reorder this, you can. So you've got full flexibility in terms of the order in which you present each element. Alternatively, what you can also do is simply click on the little bin here and even delete sections. So are you sure you want to delete from quote? Yes. And now we've deleted that element from the quote. So even if you don't want elements to be shown, you don't have to. In addition to this, on the right-hand side, you've got your display options highlighted here. You can scroll down and you can start removing things from here. So say, for instance, you wanted to remove the indent text, you can now widen how the quote is being presented. If you wanted to include section borders, you can include section borders. This was definitely a feature that Advanced Homes hated vehemently. So you've got the option to sort of remove that. You can add the banner, remove the banner, remove signature blocks, etc. Valid to items. You can remove section amounts. You can even remove within the quotes. If you don't want to show price per line item, you can see that column disappeared. Hopefully you can see on that preview, price appear and disappear. You can even remove quantity. You can even remove unit of measure. You can even remove amount. You can even remove the totals. You can even remove the sections. And the idea being is you can still have your grand total at the bottom and be able to total those items up and not show the line item. So that's going to be relevant if you're giving a client, say, just a rough estimate at the start. You don't want to sort of go into too much detail. So let's just add those back so we can flesh that up, and then you can see those return. You can even remove item description if you wanted to, and just have a very simplified version of just the line item amount. So additional alfresco, additional this, aircon, blah, rather than the description of the elements. So this gives you the flexibility to just use it for whatever you want to use it for. So if a client just walked in to a display and is asking a few questions, you probably don't want to produce a 5-page, highly detailed quote for them to dissect on on minute 1. You can if you want, or alternatively, just do the summary view. So let's just bring in those formatting options again. You can also change the background image, and you can do that by simply clicking this image button here. So you can see that example that we've got. And now you can start doing things like adding a different background image, which we've done here, just a little bit something more stylized. You can have splashing water for pools. You can have something, totally different. So let's just pick something a little bit different. And you can even have your logo and turn it into, say, like a watermark. And I'll show a few examples as inspiration. You can also change the transparency of this background image. So you can make it more vibrant or fainter. So let's just keep it there. And then you can have it so it's sized as per the image or spread out to cover the entire page. You can also change fonts of your text. So let's just remove dancing script and let's just go with something a little bit more common. So let's go Open Sans. And you can see as I'm changing this, it's reflecting on the left-hand side. So you can see how that looks. You can even change headings to be uppercase or capitalized. So let's just do capitalized. It makes it a little bit more streamlined. And then you're able to start adding your own text boxes. But before I do, let's just click Save. Let's actually change the indent. Let's just widen this one out. So we just make a few more changes. So we've changed the font, we've changed the background, we've changed the indent, and let's just click Save. And now let's just return back to this view and let's just regenerate that quote. Hit quote and click Proceed. So this will take just a few moments. The next thing I'll do is I'll quickly jump back to admin and I'll showcase how you're able to add your own text boxes. Now, the beauty of the text box is fully functional in terms of you can add tables, colors, different font sizes, images, the whole lot. So you can really customize the look of it. So if you wanted to introduce a table of data that's independent from what Can I Build's being generating, you can incorporate that. You can incorporate a team photo image. You can do what you can really start blowing out how detailed or how graphically inclined these quotes are being generated as. So here we're in Docs. We'll click Quote, click Download, and I'll open up this one. So you can see here, we've now got that backing image, which is just this colorful sort of thing that I found on the web. And then you can see that the font is now gone. We can see that the customer is Jimbo Jones and the address. We can see all the detail is there as per normal. It's just now a wider view. And you can see doing this, you might want to sort of go back and increase the transparency of the background image just to make it even further clearer. But it's just a really nice way of being able to generate this information very quickly and be able to sort of go and sort of add your items and your descriptions and etc. So very quickly you can do this, which is quite nice. Now sort of jumping back to the main app. Before I do, what I will show is just a few other examples of what you can sort of do, which I've just pre-prepared. Let me just share my Adobe. So this is that first example I had, just going from left to right. This is, if you added a logo, you can turn that into a kind of watermark, which is also quite nice. You can sort of tile that across as well. Here is just probably my favorite one, just a little bit more subtle and just give a bit of sort of texture to the quote. You can start being, for our custom home builder clients, you can do something like this in the background. And given it's still the sales stage, hopefully you can see how you can sort of start playing with these background images and get something done quite quite nice. And what's the last one? The last one was that one. And was there any other? And that one was that horrendous, hideous option that I decided to try out. So you can see here they can really start having fun with exactly how you want this to sort of look. So let's just jump back. I've got another quick question from Thomas. Hey, Tim, is there any way to remove the boxes from the heading text? Let's jump back to see what that might be. Admin, branding. So is there a way to remove it from the heading text? If you're talking about the boxes that you're currently seeing, so in terms of these boxes, the section borders, those disappear in this way. If you're talking about this rectangle blue kind of thing, you can remove that by, it's one of these options here. I'm pretty sure it's banner. You can remove banner in that way as well. So hopefully that was that question. So if I deselect banner, you can see that gone there, or introduce. If not, just let me know after this, and then I'll definitely be able to sort of get on top of it. The beauty of this functionality now, this is just version 1. Obviously, we need to do a lot more work in making this particular page that I'm currently on a lot prettier and a lot more user-friendly, which will happen over the next week or so. We're just keen to get this out, as so many clients have been requesting customization of their quote. But if there's anything specific you want to do, just let us know, because now with the infrastructure that we've developed to support this, we can make any change pretty quickly. We can incorporate additional elements, etc. So one element I do want to sort of hone in on is this text box functionality. You've got this text box here that it's a fully function text box. So you can type whatever you want in. You can go left justified. You can insert tables. You can insert images. You can insert divider lines. You can change the color of the border of the table. You can even set the headings to be stylized in the same way as the other headings, like the headings in the quote or the heading of the proposal. So you have the ability to make even your text consistent with the rest of the quoting functions. You're able to change the fonts as many times as you like. You're able to insert bullet points, be it in circle, dot, or square. You can start doing that quite simply, and then start doing bullet points within the table, etc. A lot of our clients are using this table structure to be able to have their terms of trade at the last page and have headings, etc. And then you can simply, as soon as you're happy with it, let's just change a few things just randomly. So we've got heading 1, whatever. Now that's consistent with the quote header. You're able to change the colors, etc., etc. But then if we click add text box, what they'll do is add that text box to the main body of the quote, which you can see here. I just had the table empty, so you're just seeing those 2 bullet points. But I hope you can see that you can start doing whatever you want to do. So if I just start typing in a lot more, press enter, and I'll just do a table, and let me just start putting a few things into that table and adding this. You'll be able to start seeing that a little bit more. And then you're able to even color code the table, so you can have the frames, etc. You can do whatever you want. It's basically similar to Microsoft Word. You're able to do as much functionality as you want. You click save, and you can reorder this. You can put this higher before a section, whatever you want to do. You can insert all those elements, and then when you generate this, if I now scroll down to the bottom and click save, and jump back to the main screen, and then click quote and generate that again, and click proceed, it'll then generate the quote based on those elements. So if you invest a little bit of time, you're able to get this functionality quite detailed. the short of it is you'll be able to present your quote exactly as you want it to. And if there's any restriction, let us know, because we'll develop the functionality now very quickly. When I say we're very quickly, in a week or so from the moment that we receive the request, because our aim is to make sure that every single one of our clients has the ability and freedom to develop a proposal, be it an estimate or an end quote or something in between, exactly to your liking. It's not about forcing you to come through our approach. So if there is one granny flat company that's watching us, and you'll probably know who you are, I do apologize that this functionality has taken us so long to get to, and I hope this is well received by yourselves. And I'm pretty sure you'll be able to connect the dots to know who I'm talking about. I just don't want to mention by name and embarrass anyone. I've also got a quick question here by Jim Harris. Can you show the flyer to attach to the quote showcasing both the home build and the granny flat, please, Tim? So the next question that'll come from Jim is 100% to talk about the estates before I sort of end up. But what Jim is asking me to do, just for the benefit of everyone, is in Cart, you can scroll down, and the whole idea is you're able to generate site plans, you're able to generate flyers, and you're meant to couple this together with something like that quote that we just generated. So if we click flyer and click order and agree to T's and C's and go checkout, we've requested that flyer. Let's just see how that looks. And then the whole intention is you couple them all together, and you've essentially got the main puzzle or proposal, the proposal itself, or you can incorporate these documents in your existing material. So let's just click flyer, click download, open that guy up. And I think the point that Jim was trying to point out is, yes, you develop this flyer, but then the second page, the system's smart enough to know there's now 2 structures. You can have house, granny flat, pool, shed, and it'll just be 4 pages long. And then you can also generate a site plan, which we'll do now as well. And then the benefit of the site plan, if you've got multiple structures, is it'll be 3 pages long. You'll have the initial page, which is the context showing you the site. And then the second page will be a 1-in-100 zoomed in view of the house, a 1-in-100 zoomed in view of the granny flat, 1-in-100 zoomed in view of the pool if you've got a pool. So that's all quite nice. While that's generating, let me download this quote and showcase that guy. So if I scroll down to the bottom, which is where I made those changes, you can see here, notes go here. That's that notes bar, the signature block. You've got all this junk, and then you've got my little 2 random bullet points that I've done there. So those are the 2 random bullet points I added. And then this was that gibberish that I added in columns. So you can imagine fleshing this out. You'll have column data for, it could be your optional upgrades. It could be a static page of images and text in table format showing, hey, here's the quote, but these are other things that you can upgrade to. So you're able to do that as well. So that, I hope this is well received. We're always keen for feedback, positive or negative. We're strong enough to handle some negative, but any sort of commentary that, you know, telling us that's falling short of the mark, we're happy to work on it and make sure it gets improved. Taylor, yes, that's actually done, that request, Taylor. We're launching that, I think, either today or tomorrow. I'll send you an email on how that looks. So it'll have, the question is, team, from Taylor is, on the sightings, will he include full name, email, phone number on that? Because a lot of our clients are using that to send to other departmental heads, and it's always nice to be able to very quickly know that that sighting was done by this person or that person. Currently, it's just giving you initials, and for larger companies, such as the one that Taylor's representing, obviously RD and ST and TC isn't the best way to know which sales consultant was the one, given that they've got larger teams. So Taylor, that'll be live either today or tomorrow, and I'll send you a copy of how that looks. But basically we've just incorporated full name in lieu of the initials and their phone number on the sighting and the email. So then you're able to correspond with that consultant straight away. And I do apologize. It took a week longer than expected. I think the developers just saw it as an easy win and just didn't get on top of it as quickly as I would have liked. They just kept on pushing it back, but that's been done. So let me close that off. So I've got another quick question in chat. That's from Jim saying brilliant. So as always, we always compliment each other and pat each other on the back, but we're all biased. We all love the app. So jumping back, team. So in summary, we've produced these quotes, we've produced these flyers, I've produced this site plan just for completeness. I'll showcase that. You can see that the first page is the context page. We've got all the notes that we've listed here on the right-hand side. It's annotated, which makes it quite neat. So we've got the free doors stacker, we've got the builder to demo, the AC, the upgrade to kitchen. So you know exactly what's happening. If I scroll down, it's a 1 in 100 view of the house. Scroll down again, 1 in 100 view of the granny flat. And I think that's pretty cool. Like the whole idea is, you know, even under the pressure of doing this live as part of a webinar and, you know, more or less having a quite fluid approach, I hope you can see that this is not all too rehearsed. It's meant to be a real experience. It's a very simple way of presenting a detailed professional looking quote in conjunction with a detailed professional looking flyer together with a site plan very quickly to be able to get that client to the next step. I think, okay, so we've got another question from, will there be page break option in quote branding? 100%. I was a little bit annoyed that that wasn't in the first iteration. This is being worked on genuinely now and should be the next couple of days because it's critical. So you'll be, basically that question is asking, in that quote branding section, can you force a page break? You will be able to force a page break. The only place you won't be able to force a page break is within the quote section in itself, because we're handling that as a separate module. But then you'll be able to put a page break right under, say, for example, the grand totals, and say, I don't want the rest of the information to bleed immediately thereafter. It will start a new page. So therefore you can say, for example, start your terms and conditions on a brand new page. So that is definitely being done, and that's our focus. The heading logos, can it be more than one? This question from Brad, maybe reach out to us. This request has come from someone else as well, and I'm sort of trying to understand exactly how that sort of works, because if you show two logos, like some companies have like two brands and they want to show brand one and brand two, you can have an image that has two logos in itself and then it'll incorporate the two logos. If the issue is that becomes too small and you want to just two larger sized logos, then that makes sense, and that's something that we should work on. So Brad, feel free to indicate to me if I understood the question correctly. If the issue right now is if you did incorporate one image of two logos, if you know what I mean, that becomes too small and really you just want two larger logos, then that's a valid point, and I'll look into what we can do there and get back to you. If you can email us as well at support@canobuild.com, Brad, just so I know which Brad from where, and then I'll be able to sort of get on top of that straight away. I think, okay, and then we've got another one from Michael that they've got 3 logos. So obviously this is something that's relevant. So it's not just you, Brad. Let's get on top of that. Let me give it some thought as to how we're going to incorporate that, but it's something that we have to do because we try to always be responsive. So it's about the 3rd or 4th time of being requested that. So to cut a long story short, it'll be something that we do. I just need today to get my head around how we'll sort of incorporate that, and I'll try to get that done for the next webinar. So I think that covers the main thrust of what we're trying to show here. There's a few little things I would want to sort of highlight. There has been other big changes to the system. If I quickly jump back to admin, I just want to make sure that I've covered everything in quote. I've talked about how you can move sections, delete sections, change the color of the text. You can put the the code here, the hex codes. You can capitalize and uppercase all the formatting. You can reset back to default. You can add your text boxes. You can remove display sections. You can see how that looks on the fly. And you can also do similar to the flyer, and you're able to sort of change these elements as well. With the flyer, we're still customizing this on a case-by-case basis. If any particular business wants to do that, we've done that for a host of businesses already. We can bring that forward, and we are working on doing this a lot more as well. Just a quick note on the construction side of things, you can set your cut and fill 50-50. You can set your max cuts, etc. But I think I've covered most of the things here. One massive change that we have done, and if I don't show this, I think Jim will have a brain aneurysm, so let's just do it for his sake. In show estates, for those of you that are doing in greenfield estates, we can click show estates, and you may have noticed that we've upped the number of estates that we have on the system by a significant amount. So here on the left-hand side, you can see 2,511. On your accounts, you might not see the total number because, say, for example, you're based in Queensland, you'll see only Queensland, if New South Wales, only New South Wales. But we have a tremendous amount of new developments that we have loaded, particularly in Victoria. Now, given the magnitude of estates that we've loaded in, there has been a bit of a performance hit, which the team is resolving by end of today. So we underestimated the impact on 1,800 new developments happening over the course of one day. But rest assured that the system will be back to full speed when you're on this page here. It's a little bit clunkier than we would have liked. So in terms of estates, you can see, for example, in Victoria, there's a few. And then we're able to sort of drill down and pick those. So there this is a tremendous sort of achievement from the team in general, from our side, which I'm very proud of. And I hope you can just visually see it's massive, and it's an exciting time for us and both our clients, especially those in Victoria, that's going to be able to take advantage of the magnitude of projects that you've now got access to. And we'll be doing the same to New South Wales in the next couple of days and Queensland. So we've really ramped up this effort. A shout out to Mancy and the team as well for making this happen in such a tremendously short period of time. So I hope this is also well received, and it gives tremendous power to both the platform and your ability to service clients. So sorry, I was just whispering to myself. I've got a quick question for when I search a lot that does not come up within the system. How do I search an area without noting it in the search bar? Really good question. If all the lots should be on the system, but if you say you're looking up lot 10 and it's really lot 10A, the system might not be able to find it as easy. An easy way to find a particular project. So let's just jump back to the search address bar. Say you're looking up 78 Hood Street, Yaguna, but you don't know it's 78. And I'm sure everyone by now knows exactly 78 Hood Street, but you can go Hood Street, Yaguna. You can jump to by street name. You don't have to specifically designate a lot number or a street number. So let's just click Hood Street, Yaguna. It'll say address not found, but I don't know why it's done that. This might actually, let me look into that. This is a new issue. Typically what should happen if you did put in something like that, so Hood Street, Yaguna, it should take you to as close as possible, which it's not. So this is something that's an introduced new issue. So I'm glad you've raised that to my attention. But in answer to your question, we'll get on top of that in the next half hour and resolve that. But if you don't know the street address and what should happen, or the actual specific lot or street number, you should be able to simply type in the street and the suburb, like I am trying to do here, press that, and it should zoom into that street address, which currently it's not doing. Believe it or not, it has done it here, but the zoom level is just way too high, and it should be a lot lower. So give me the rest of today and we'll fix that straight away. So in answer to your question, you can put suburb, you can put street name, and then it'll zoom into that. And then the whole idea is, say it zooms in there, you're able to then just see the lot numbers and then manually select it and then drill down into the specific address once you found it. But there's obviously a slight issue at the moment where the zoom level is way too high. So let me get on top of that straight away. At this point, I'm just keen to see if there's and that's always quite nice to see the sewer lines. There's a few other quick questions. Headings, I think I've covered all of them. Let me just quickly check on the chat on Facebook. I'll be surprised if anyone messaged me on Facebook, but there's always a first time. No, I think that's great. So probably I'll open, the discussion specifically if anyone has any specific questions. I'm keen to get people's reaction to the quoting functionality and the changes generally. We do, and this is not just for us to have a warm, fuzzy feeling. If there's anything that we can do in addition, we really want to sort of hear from you if there's anything that we need to change or improve as well, or generally to see if we've hit the mark. But this is now the start of an evolving evolution of that quoting piece to be able to provide more and more information and to customize it further and further. Very quick things in terms of this, just the last few items, just to let you know, we can integrate and get data, say from Data Build and other systems, to be able to populate these items, which is feeding into the quoting, and we can work with you. So you can very much import and export and add items in bulk. It makes the process very simple. And you can split your item catalogs by, say, granny flat houses, pools, duplexes, so you don't have a mishmash of different build types. And you can always drill down in any of these items by editing, adding photos, so it presents better on the quote. And then here it's giving you the functionality of how you want to group, etc. But the functionality is it's simple to use, but quite powerful. So even in the quoting function, this is where you can automatically calculate deposits. This is where you can calculate the maximum discount amounts. You can see here the 1,000, which is the restriction that we saw in my example when we did $500 and $500. Here is the templates. You can add as many templates as you want. And basically a template is as simple as just adding a new item here. You can see here, these are all just randomly created ones by different names. And as simple as clicking new template, saying this is a template for granny flats or houses, and then you can say webinar template, click add, and then all this is doing is similar to the quoting function. You're just basically adding items that you want to appear instantly whenever you apply the webinar template. And then that's it. That's as simple as that. In the settings, this settings page would soon disappear as it's being replaced by that branding tab that goes into a lot more detail. So you can see from here how much we've evolved the quoting functionality to be able to be more customizable, your tax, and this grouping is how you want the groups to be shown. So here you can realign them. You can say I want design and approval package items to be after the selected plan. I want the selected plan to come up on top. I want stage 1 to be here. You can group under it as well. And what this means is when you add items, you're controlling where the positioning in the quote. So the design will always appear first in this case, selected design. So I would have done that for most of these examples. So like if I go to house, it's not, you can sort of push that up as the selected design and move that all the way up to the top. So then the selected design always appears first. And you can just grab and move it up. Let's just place it there. So now in houses, the selected design appears first. And I hope that sort of makes sense. But hopefully this webinar was beneficial to everyone. If anyone wants to ask any more questions or want to sort of deep dive, how did you, I've got Simon Lane, how did you get the sewer lines? If I jump back in terms of those sewer lines, we are rolling those out across New South Wales. It's been incredibly difficult to get all the licensing arrangements for that. It should be happening over the next couple of weeks. I've been saying that for a while, but we do cover all of Blacktown, Northern Beaches, Ryde area, Sutherland, I think Campbelltown right now. So those are there. In the unregistered greenfield estates, you'll be able to soon see all of those there as well. So in answer to your question, they'll automatically appear soon enough. There's nothing else that you need to do. And if you want, you can sort of email us at support@canadabuild.com and just get an update on the specific area and say, hey, I build here. Can you just give me a better ETA than soon? And we'll be able to do that for you as well. Any other questions, guys, or any feedback or anything like this, or is there anything specific that people want to hear about in the webinar for next month? Basically for next month, I think the focus will be on that ability to select the 5th bedroom option or the media room option and automatically see the changes on the floor plan. I think that's what the topic's going to be, but keen on adding to that, or if anyone wants to hear about something in particular, I'm all ears. Can you do landscape design from Joanne Clark? Really good question. The next build types that we're working on, so can I build terms everything in terms of build type, so the granny flat build type, the housing build type, or the shed or the pool build type. We are doing a landscape specific build type shortly, where you'll be able to sort of drag and drop in trees, vegetation, garden beds, paving, and things like that. We are working on a feature to be able to do that sooner rather than later. And we're also working on build types such as for roofers, because we've got quite a few roofing contractors that are using our system to mark up hips and etc. So keen to sort of keep you up to date on that, Joanne. The answer is yes, but not right now. It's coming soon. There's another question from Brad. Is the furthest distance from the boundary the end? Okay, so those blue measurement nodes on all 4 sides of a build, that distance is the closest point. So it's the closest point between your build and the closest point from that back boundary, for example. So we've done that to ensure that you're always complying to the rear setbacks, for example. So it's not the furthest point. If you wanted to get a random point, I suggest you pick the line tool on the right-hand side where you can see the circle, curve, and square. Pick the line and then just click on the back boundary and then position it to whichever element of the building plan you want to sort of measure from. So hopefully that answered that question. Is there any there's another quick question on, is there any updates on the house and land package functionality and when this is coming? This is already live. It's just not open to everyone. We're just looking to get specific companies involved on a case-by-case scenario on requests. So Mitchell, just hit us up and let's get that show on the road. We're happy to sort of work with you and turn that on, and that offer goes to anyone else that's interested, and we can start doing that. We've already got REA integrations, etc., and there's a few companies already using us for that, because as you can imagine, you're able to cite position, quote now, generate the flyers, and then just click a button and it gets pushed out to REA. So that's pretty cool. And when I say REA slash domain and slash other portals, especially for WA clients, that REA is still big, but there's others, as well as in the ACT. There's All Homes, and there's Zango, I think it is. I'm losing my mind. I'm starting to forget things. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Let me just quickly see if there's anything else. Jim is clarifying REA WA. That's the WA one. You can tell when I fluff some answers. So guys, as always, really appreciate your time. It's so fantastic. And Mark just clarifies the Zango for me as well. If I'm not supported by my team, I think I'll lose track very quickly. But guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust. I really hope you're still enjoying these sessions. I hope you're getting a lot out of it. More importantly, in this case, I hope you're getting a lot out of the quoting functionality, and it's food for thought in terms of what that might be able to achieve and do. So very keen on getting your feedback. And as always, simply reach out to us by emailing at support@canibuild.com. And I'll look forward to you joining again in next month's webinar, which is always at the same time, the first Thursday at 11 o'clock. And next month will probably be a big one, as a lot of businesses are definitely interested in that auto floor plan change, where you can simply say, hey, show us the grand alfresco option, show us the 5th bedroom option, show us the different facade option, show us all that, and they'll be metamorphing that design right in front of you and automatically adjusting setbacks and ratios and the rest of it. So hopefully that's the thing. Christy, thanks for that. Really appreciate the comments. Everyone else, keep smiling, keep safe, and keep selling. And let's keep in contact. And like always, really appreciate it. And we're still having a buzz, helping everyone out and hopefully getting the most out of Canabuild. So thanks again. I'll wait around awkwardly for a few minutes just in case anyone else has some questions. Else, let you go on for the rest of your day and week. Thanks again, team. Thanks, Zero. Thanks, Vicky. Simon Lane, quick question. Do you have an ETA on fire, flood, and acid sulfate? Which area, Simon, are you covering? Because we do have that. Oh, good question. Acid sulfate we have, fire we have. I believe someone's brought to my attention the file has been updated. So I'll double check to make sure that the updated file layer has been already pushed through. It should have been, but I'll double check. And the flood, let me send you an email specifically with the updated flood layer for Central Coast. I'll send that today to you, Simon. So Mark, Jim, I know that we've got that in the queue. So if you can let Simon know about that today, because sometimes I promise to email and I forget. So Mark, Jim, if you're still hearing me, get Simon that info, because I know that the flood's there. We've got a quick question from Ray. Hey Ray, can you help us implement the system in our current workflow? 100%. We're always open to that. And again, it's not a pricing thing. We're not here to sort of price for this, or the quoting function is part of your offering, and we're very keen to sort of work with you to make sure that it fits in. So reach out again, Jim, Mark, and maybe Mark, if you speak to Ray, we'll be able to sort of get that done. So let's just make it happen. So yeah, we've got no problem with that, Ray. All right, we're down to 15 people. That's just seeing me sweat the last couple of minutes, but I might jump now. So everyone, a final goodbye to all. The recording will be uploaded to YouTube later on today. And I'll see you next month at 11 o'clock on the first Thursday. So really keen. Take care, Simon. Thanks for the questions. Keep them coming, and bye to all. Adios. See you, Ray. Take it easy. Keep selling, champ. Your socials are good, by the way. So you're doing good. See ya.